later on to my sister's house, I think it probably took all of 2 minutes there of unwrapping and unwrapping and unwrapping. And there was such excitement involved in an anticipation. What gifts would Santa bring? Was Santa going to bring this? And then there's another side to it, too, of wrapping a gift and placing it under a tree and hoping, just hoping, that when somebody opens it up, they'll go, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Santa. Oh, yeah, okay, Santa. Okay, Santa. All right. But the excitement of it all. So joy there as a child, and joy when you get to participate in the giving. Joy indeed. And we continue in our Christmas season with our, I would say, somewhat strange gospel from John. John, who we know if his word would be love. John saying that Jesus is that word. But I'm more interested in our epistle reading and how it speaks to us about our faith, how we come to know God. Now, certainly we can make logical arguments for the existence of God. I think it can be done. And I think even there can be scientific explanations to sort of say, well, if you look at this, there might be evidence of it. And that is all well and good. But somehow that is not the same as having a faithful and loving response to God. I mean, we can acknowledge, yes, there is creation, there is a God. Thank you, have a very nice day. I will go about my business over here. There's something very different about that. And being a child, receiving a gift from the parent, recognizing that we are children, if not children, heirs, that our spirit within us cries out, Abba, Daddy, Father. It's a very different relationship. Something that starts out, as a child, our first love, our first knowledge is our parent. That's how we learn about love. Sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. But that's how we learn. It's with our mothers and fathers, our parents, our daddies. And that we know that our parents, or we hope, certainly, that our parents give us good gifts. We have that excitement like a child there on Christmas morning, whipping it open to see what gifts Santa, but our Father, has given to us. And that is something very, very different than just a logical assent. Yes, I do believe that, and thank you very much, and have a lovely day. But it is actually within that relationship that devotion grows. Devotion and delight and joy. And then as we grow up in our faith, we shift and we move, and we're lucky enough, we too want to participate in that giving and in that joy of being that parent too, and sharing something with those that we love. That journey of faith is very, very different than an argument or a debate. And that is what we are offered in this Christmas season and in this passage from John and in our epistle. That we look at our relationship to God in a new way. He's not the clockmaker who builds a clock and puts it down and walks off. But he engages with us as a father to a child and as children to our Father. Sharing love in between. And what a gift that is. What a gift to us. And an opportunity that it changes us and it inspires us also to give. To participate in giving and in loving. Recently in the Living Church there was a somewhat pointed and painful article for the clergy of churches, not so much for anybody else, but it pointed out that one of the great mistakes that we make in churches sometimes is that we keep loading up and packing up programming for people to do, and then looking to people and say, oh, I've got to find somebody who's going to serve on the vestry, and everyone, averts their eyes as quickly as possible. I've got to have another class that I'm going to be teaching. Oh, I'm so busy. And one more busy item, if you will, burdens that get packed up, unfortunately, and placed upon people who come to church, who feel a certain amount of guilt, rather than remembering and reflecting on the gift and the joy of being a child. The author's premise was that perhaps if we spent more time in that relationship and understanding that, well then maybe you would find somebody who would want to serve on the vestry. Or another way to think of it is this, that duty, it does not come on its own. You do not suddenly say, I'm going to do something just because you said I should do it. I mean, unless, of course, you have a drill sergeant telling you to do it, or prison warden. But duty that comes out of devotion is something very different. Duty that comes out of love, that comes out of a gift, well then that is true service. And perhaps the invitation we have for this time, for Christmas, is reflecting on that gift of being the child that each and every one of us are, children of our Heavenly Father. To anticipate and receive the gift. And then perhaps, in turn, that we get to participate